When you were growing up, did you watch cartoons? Especially on Saturday morning, I did. What's the line that most sticks with you from your favorite cartoon? Years ago, I had a coworker who said her favorite line was from Daffy Duck, a good choice. But she said at the end of the little film, Daffy Duck is tied up in a straitjacket. He's ranting as they're loading him into an ambulance to take him away. And he turns, he faces the camera, he breaks the fourth wall and says, I'm not crazy. I just don't care anymore. Daffy Duck had black pilled before black pilling was cool. But that's where a lot of people are today. Stay with me. I've got a story to tell. Hi, I'm Jesuit Father Robert McTeigue, your host every day, The Catholic Current, coming to you via the Station of the Cross Catholic Media Network. Let's take a closer look. Glad you're here. Recently, I asked the question, are we running out of time? And the answer is yes. Whether you were born just now or you're 106, all of us are running out of time and into eternity. And I promised I would raise another question, which is, are we running out of purpose? And I think the answer is yes. If we look especially in the Western world, what used to be called Christendom, there are the deaths of despair. There's drug abuse, drug overdose. There's suicide. There's failure to launch. You've got kids, grown adults living in their parents' basement. We see the same thing in Japan, where for years people don't go outside. It's called the no desire society. Young people in Japan and South Korea don't even want to have sex, much less get married and have children. It seems to be that we're caught in the grip of the great nothing. I remember talking to a dad who got a phone call from his son. His son had just left college, got a job. It was an okay white collar job. He was paying his bills, he was making it happen. And he called up his father and said, Dad, you've been working for the company for decades now. The thrill is gone, right? He said, Yes, absolutely. He says, You stopped loving your job a long time ago, right? Yes, absolutely. But, Dad, isn't it the case that you got up every morning and went to the job that you hated because that's what kept a roof over the head of your wife and your children? And he said, Yes, that's right. That's the only thing that kept me going. I couldn't have done it without you and your brothers and sisters and mom and the mortgage. I had a monster to slay every day, and I did it. And on a gut level, as a man, that meant a lot to me. And the gentleman's son said, Dad, I don't have that. I'm all dressed up and no place to go. It seems like the alphabet soup of my life is being stirred up, and there aren't any words. And I don't know what I should do. I don't know why I should bother anymore. And I wanted to say, Dad, the worst part of the day is going to bed at night because it's the last thing I do before I get up in the morning. And nothing is worse than getting up in the morning. Now, this was a young man with an education and a townhouse and a gold card and a sports car and a girlfriend and nothing. Empty. He was living the life. He did all the things he was told as a young adult in college and high school. This is was going to make you happy. This is going to make your life filled. And when he got there, he found nothing. One of my favorite curmudgeons that I like to quote, because I'm very tight with the curmudgeon community, is an author named Dean Abbott, and he said this: "The ceaseless task of the modern man is to disguise how lonely, scared, and confused he is among all his trinkets." We see this all the time. We hear about this all the time. People having junk delivered to their door through Amazon Prime, starting up relationships with chat programs and make believe anime girlfriends, people who find porn boring, people who find drugs and drink empty. They don't have a good reason to live, and they don't have a good reason to die. They exist. They drift, they doom scroll, Maybe they score a few snarky points at Reddit, but we all know that's no way to live. Recently, I saw some statistics I'm trying to verify, but the gist of it is this, that in 1950, by the time you were 30, the great majority of Americans were married and owned a home. And now, if the statistics are to believe, if you're 30, there's only a 12% chance that you're married and you own your own home. So much for the American dream. And I only wish that prominent members of the Catholic cadre, of the people who should really know better club, would take their prophetic stance and saying, what are we doing in our economy and our social system, our education, and our parishes? That young people don't have the opportunity to start businesses and start families. But that's a topic for another time. What I want to focus on is that we were made for glory and for joy and for God. And we've decided that life would be so much easier if we got rid of the God part, because the lie goes that if we get rid of the God part, we can get rid of the sixth commandment and we can have sex however we want without consequence, and we'll all live happily ever after. And we know that's not true. Look at the misery of the people who don't live Christ's wisdom for ethics and morality and sexuality and family. It's near universal misery. See, here's the thing, the human condition, apart from God, is almost unbearable. The competition, the selfishness, the jockeying for position, everything and everyone being a disappointment, and the best of us still die, just like the worst of us. And so people surround themselves with toys and distractions and bright, shiny screens and fentanyl and plastic and plastic and plastic, and nothing good happens. We prefer the lie that we can be happy without God rather than admit that we were wrong and turning to God in repentance. C.S. Lewis said that we are far too easily pleased, that we're like street urchins playing on the curb at mud puddles when we offer the holiday at a sea. So Christ the King gives us the invitation to fight at his side, to fight against evil and win, and to share in his victory, his joy, and his glory. And our response is, nah, I, I'm too comfortable here. Is this going to take long? Because I'm really busy being bored. Well, what's the answer? Well, I can just say turn to God, and that would be true, but that wouldn't be enough. So I want to recommend a virtue to you. It's called magnanimity, the orientation of the soul towards greatness, the commitment to become great, not in terms of powerful or famous or wealthy, but truly, fully human. Remember, St. Irenaeus said, the glory of God is a man fully alive. So let's do that. Let's choose to accept the greatness that God has intended for us. Just look around you and look in the mirror. Look at all those rejections of God's plan for you, for truth and beauty and goodness. All of those rejections, if we're honest, we'll have to admit, have always ended in misery and worse. God did not make us without a purpose. God made us in love. Love is to want the best for the beloved. God knows that the best for the beloved is Him. And we've decided to live without the one reality that can fill our hearts and make this life worth living, and above all, make this life a worthy preparation for the glory that we are made for, which is happiness with Him in heaven. So maybe let's try to walk away from our junk, from our trinkets, from the things that possess us, for the things that divide our hearts. Above all, let's walk away from man-made idols and turn to the one who made us, the one for whom we are made. What have you got to lose except perhaps your misery? Think on these things today, take them to prayer, and talk about it with those you love. Go in peace, and please do pray for me, for I am a sinner. Thanks for watching today. I release new videos on Mondays and Wednesdays. Check out the archives for more videos. You can listen to my podcast at stationofthecross.com, and you can find my written work at heraldofthegospel.org. See you next time.